Welcome to this explainer. Today we're taking a deep dive into the absolute heart of southwestern Europe. We're going to unpack a nation that honestly operates way less like a standard country and more like this massive living storybook that's been written over millennia. We're talking about a place where ancient history and cutting-edge modernity don't just coexist, they actually collaborate. It's a really fascinating mix.
To set the stage here, I want you to think about this question for a second. Where in the world can you find the footprints of ancient Romans, a network of blazing fast bullet trains, and a territory originally dubbed the Land of Rabbits? I know, it sounds totally like a riddle, but it's the actual reality of the Kingdom of Spain. It's a country defined by these just spectacular contrasts and evolution. And today, we're going to explore exactly how all those totally different pieces fit together.
Okay, let's dive into this with Chapter 1, the Land of Rabbits.
Looking at the very foundation of this nation, let's start with a really quirky detail about the name itself. So the ancient Romans called the Iberian Peninsula Hispania, but the root of that word actually stretches back even further to the seafaring Phoenicians, who called it Ishfanam. Now, historians believe this either meant land of metals because, the region had really rich resources, or, and this is way more amusing, the land of rabbits or hyraxes. And get this, the Romans leaned so heavily into this idea that coins minted during Emperor Hadrian's reign literally depict a female figure with a little rabbit sitting right at her feet. It's just a fantastic anchor, reminding us of the deep and honestly kind of surprising roots of modern nations.
And this brilliantly illustrates the diverse stage we're working with here. Spans over 506,000 square kilometers, and it is a land of absolute extremes. Up in the north, you have this oceanic climate. Think rainy, lush, and just incredibly green. But then you travel to the south and east, and boom, you are hit with that classic, sunny, dry Mediterranean climate. There are even semi-arid deserts in the southeast. Oh, and let's not forget, Spain isn't just the Iberian Peninsula. The whole shebang includes the Balearic and Canary Islands. The Canaries are even home to Mount Teide, which is this massive, active volcano soaring over 3,700 meters into the sky. It's an unbelievably varied landscape.
Moving right along, let's get into Chapter 2, an epic historical tapestry.
With that dramatic physical stage set, we can look at the incredible history of the people who inhabited it. Spain isn't just one continuous, unchanging culture, it is a complex mosaic. Tracing the timeline, we start around 210 BCE when the Romans conquered the peninsula. They brought their language, their laws, and some serious infrastructure like roads and aqueducts. Jumping to 711 CE, the Umayyad Caliphate brought Islamic rule to a territory they called Al-Andalus, which introduced just stunning architectural styles and massive scholarly advancements. For centuries, Christian and Muslim kingdoms fluctuated in power until 1492, which marked the end of the Reconquista and the dawn of a massive global empire. Fast forward to the 20th century and things get tough. The nation was violently fractured by the Spanish Civil War starting in 1936, which resulted in a decades-long dictatorship under Francisco Franco. Finally, though, we arrive at the pivotal year of 1978, marking the restoration of democracy. Every single era was quite literally built upon the ruins and successes of the last one.
Taking a closer look at that imperial era, the Spanish Empire was, undeniably, awe-inspiring in its global reach. Through exploration and conquest across the Americas, the Indo-Pacific, and parts of Africa, Spain basically established a global trade system. They catalyzed the movement of precious metals and previously unknown plants, radically transforming both the global economy and European diets. All this wealth fueled a massive cultural golden age at home. And, remarkably, a Spanish expedition actually completed the very first circumnavigation of the globe. Talk about a game changer.
But as we know, empires eventually give way to new eras, and for modern Spain, no number is more significant than 1978. Following the death of Franco, this was the year a brand new constitution was overwhelmingly approved by the Spanish people. It successfully transformed Spain from a one-party dictatorship into a vibrant, multi-party parliamentary democracy, fully setting the stage for the progressive, open society we see today.
Which brings us to our characters. Chapter 3, the people and the crown.
Looking at the nearly 50 million people who call Spain home today, you immediately see this beautifully multilingual society. While we all know Spanish is a total global juggernaut, literally the world's second most spoken native language, within Spain itself, things are a bit more nuanced. Castilian Spanish is the clear majority at 81.5%, sure, but over 10% of the population speaks Catalan or Valencian. You also have nearly 4% speaking Galician and over 1% speaking Basque, which, by the way, is a language with ancient, highly mysterious origins. These aren't just local dialects either, they are deeply protected cultural cornerstones.
Presiding over this immensely diverse population is the crown. Spain is a constitutional monarchy, currently under King Felipe VI. Now, to be clear, the monarch doesn't go around dictating public policy. Instead, the crown serves as a symbol of the state's permanence and unity. The king arbitrates and moderates the regular functioning of institutions, represents Spain internationally, and serves as the supreme commander of the armed forces. So it's fundamentally a stabilizing, moderating role for the nation as a whole.
So the crucial point here is that because of this immense diversity, Spain governs itself through a highly decentralized system. It's divided into 17 autonomous communities, making it one of the most decentralized states in all of Europe. This system, which is known as the State of Autonomies, allows regions like Catalonia, the Basque Country, and Andalusia to maintain their unique historic identities. They have their own elected parliaments, their own healthcare systems, and in some cases, even their own police forces.
Let's shift gears a bit. Chapter 4, Sun, Wind, and Bullet Trains.
Transitioning from political structure to modern infrastructure, 3,973 is a number you absolutely need to know. That is the number of kilometers in Spain's high-speed rail network. That makes it the longest high-speed network in Europe and the second longest in the entire world, trailing only behind China. These trains race across the country at commercial speeds of up to 330 kilometers per hour. Just imagine traversing the vast distances between hubs like Madrid, Barcelona, and Seville in a fraction of the time it usually takes to drive. It's incredible.
Now, what's really interesting about this is that Spain's energy evolution has been just as rapid. Back in 2009, fossil fuels made up 58% of their electricity generation, with nuclear at 19% and renewables like wind and hydro making up about 24%. But Spain has aggressively pushed into the future since then. By late 2010, wind power hit a historic peak, covering an astounding 53% of mainland electricity demand at that exact moment. Today, Spain stands as a European leader in wind production and a massive global pioneer in solar power.
All of this infrastructure and innovation powers a seriously massive economy. Spain's estimated 2026 GDP, adjusted for purchasing power parity, stands at almost $3 trillion. Let that sink in. It is firmly established as a global economic powerhouse, boasting an advanced economy that is notably one of the fastest growing among major developed nations today.
Let's move on and see how this builds into Chapter 5, a vibrant global culture. That economic and historical weight builds into something hugely influential globally, and the rest of the world is definitely paying attention. In 2024 alone, a staggering 94 million tourists visited Spain. 94 million! That makes it the second most visited country on the planet, sitting just behind France. People are flocking there for the history, the incredible beaches, the architecture, and just the undeniable vibrant energy of the Spanish lifestyle.
It is, without a doubt, a true cultural superpower. The country boasts 50 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. It gave the world artistic absolute masters like Pablo Picasso, Salvador Dalí, and Antoni Gaudí. And when it comes to sports, their dominance is legendary. The national football teams are a perfect example, with the women's team securing the 2023 FIFA World Cup and the men's team taking home the 2024 UEFA European Championship. They are powerhouses.
And of course, we absolutely can't talk about Spanish culture without talking about the food. Remember that geographic diversity we looked at way back in Chapter 1? Well, it literally shapes what ends up on the plate. On the Mediterranean coast, you have iconic seafood and Valencia's famous rice-based paellas. Move to the inner Castilian plateau where the winters are harsh and it demands hearty, thick stews and cured meats. Travel up to the Atlantic North and you'll find incredible fish-based stews and legendary octopus dishes. Geography really is destiny here, especially in the kitchen.
So, we've traced the path from ancient Roman outposts to a sprawling global empire, right up to the modern, high-speed, renewable energy-driven democracy we see today. It's a nation incredibly proud of its diverse, distinct regions, yet wholly unified on the global stage. And it leaves us with one final, really interesting thought. From a grand empire of the past to an innovative leader of the future, what incredible chapter is Spain going to write next? Thanks for joining me for this explainer.